Hello and welcome to this Melodrive tutorial video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can synchronize your game to the music that's being generated by Melodrive. So say for instance you might want to have objects in your scene dancing along to the music, or you might want to have a character playing along to the music on an instrument. So you can do that with Melodrive by listening to certain events that Melodrive fires. Before I dig into that, I'll just show you around what I've done here in this scene. So I've gone ahead and I've imported the Melodrive Unity plugin, and I've added the prefab into the scene. I've also set the init style to house and the init emotion to happy, but right now I won't click play on start. I'll do that in a bit later. And that's because I want to show you this keyboard that I've made here. So this is just a standard keyboard, and all it does is when I enter into play mode and I click one of the keys, it quickly highlights the key that you've clicked. And then finally we have this little sphere here, and I'm going to be using that later on to react to the beat of the music. So what I'm going to show you first is how we can have this keyboard react to the notes that Melodrive is playing. So to do that, I'll go ahead and create a new script onto our main camera, and I'm going to call it Reactor. You see there are another couple of Reactor scripts already made. They're included in the examples directory, but I'm going to create a new script and add it to this object. And then I'm going to edit it. And then I'm going to grab the objects that we're going to need in the scene. Okay, now I have all the objects that I need. I'm going to attach an event listener onto one of the Melodrive events that's being fired. And that event is the note on event. Now this gets fired whenever a note begins within Melodrive, and that note might be on any instrument. It might be on the main melody, even the drums fire note on events. So I do that by creating a new Melodrive plugin note on handler. Let's have a look at the note on handler to see what kind of arguments we need for that. We can see here that we need 3 arguments. The first one is a string, and that's the part. As I mentioned in the previous ensembles video, Melodrive creates music with lots of different parts. You might have a drums part, a lead part, and these kinds of things. So this is an identifier that tells us which part had the note on, and then we can do our own routing to different objects in the game ourselves. The second parameter is an integer, and it's the note number. Melodrive follows the MIDI standard here and outputs note numbers between 0 and 127. Each note number corresponds to a different pitch on a keyboard, the 0 being the lowest possible note on the keyboard and the 127 being the highest possible note. The next argument is velocity. This is how harsh the note is being played. So if you imagine a pianist playing the piano, if it's tender music, they might play very softly, and so the velocities will be in a low range. Whereas if they get overexcited, they might start bashing the keys very hard, and then the velocity will be in a much higher range. So I'm going to copy these values over into our handler. And then I'm just going to log them. So now I'll go back to Unity and check the play on start checkbox. Okay, so we got quite a lot of output there from the system, but we see here that we have different parts. the note number and the velocity coming through. So switching back to my script, what I can do with these events is I can tell the keyboard to highlight a certain note if, say for instance, the main melody is playing that note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if the part is equal to, let's say, the bass part, then we're going to tell our keys to do a note on, and I'm going to pass through that note number. So this should tell the keyboard to highlight this specific note number. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so we were listening to the note on event from Melodrive and we're passing that through to the keyboard. So now we have a visualization of the music that's being played on that keyboard. The next thing I'm going to do is hook up this beat ball object here to listen to the beats that Melodrive is outputting. So music is often organized into beats, bars, and the speed of the music is measured in the tempo, which is the beats per minute. So every time a beat happens in Melodrive, we get a beat event. And we listen to it the same way we listen to a note on event. We add a new beat handler. We'll get two arguments with this one. We'll get the beat and we'll also get the bar, both as floats. The beat will be the beat number, starting from 0, and it just counts up the beats since Melodrive was started. And the bar will be the bar number, which, depending on the time signature, will count up every 4 beats, maybe every 6 beats, 3 beats. So what I want to do here is every time the beat happens, I want to pulse the beat ball that we have in our scene. I'm going to do that directly in this script by changing the local scale of the beat ball. And then in my update function here, I'm going to use an interpolation to change that local scale back to 111. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I've shown you how you can use the note on handler and the beat handler to synchronize your game to events that are happening in the Melodrive engine. There are other events as well that you can listen to. There's a parameter change event, which fires whenever a synthesis parameter is changed, like filter cutoff or release time or something like that. There's also a tempo change event, which will give you the current BPM whenever the tempo changes. I'd also like to show you in our examples folder, we have a synchronization example. So I encourage you to take a look at that and have a look at how those events are handled also. So that's it for this tutorial video. Please check out the other tutorials on our channel, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.